Hey everybody, I just downloaded the latest Wild West map from Campaign Cartographer, and I thought I'll play with one. Now, like most overland mapping, you always lay down your mountains and your general mountain areas first. In this case, I put down the symbols first, and then I drew over the mountain landmass shading behind them. Next, you lay down your rivers. As you can see, I'm using a standard river tool here. And just making sure that the river flows neatly between those canyons. So you can see, just quickly spin in those rivers there. Now, once you've got rivers and mountains in, it comes time to put in the vegetation. And I'm starting with the vegetation in this map by laying down the tool areas, the broad vegetation areas, followed by the vegetation symbols. As you can imagine, on a Wild West map, you're not going to have very dense forests in much of the area, so I'm leaving those fairly sparse. Once you've got the vegetation in, it comes time to put the structures and the towns. Adding a bit of a desert there as well while I go. And now I'm using the road tool, the default road, to link some of my little settlements together. Also making sure to take them off the side of the map. That also gives me a good idea on where additional towns might need to be put, so I'm adding additional towns along those roadways as I grow it out. So you can see the map is now starting to grow organically. One of the things that I decided to do is actually change the sheet effects for the various deserts and background land textures. And all I did was I adjusted the transparency to make them a little bit lighter. I just thought they were a little bit bright on the page. Once everything is down, you start putting in all the text, and this particular style comes with a lovely Wild West font. Now you can see there that I'm actually laying text along a curved path, which is a great little feature of Campaign Cartographer. It's particularly useful for doing headlines like this, but also, as you can see there where I was putting along the river, I was able to make the text actually flow along the side of the river quite neatly. It's also useful when you're doing mountain ranges, forests and fantasy maps and so forth, so make sure you get familiar with using text along a curve. Last but not least, I'm now filling up some of the dead areas of the map, putting in a few towns, putting in some additional deserts, and just basically filling it in, and finally putting on a hex grid. I also adjusted the the sheet of the hex grid to make sure that it was nice and faded. Not too sure about the color of that hex grid. I'm just going to quickly tweak it. A little bit of text to move there first. And I'm just going to change the color of that hex grid to a bit darker, and a few more labels on, and finally render it out as a relatively good quality rectangular section PNG file, and that's the result. So thank you to the great folks over at Pro Fantasy for giving us yet another nice little pack, just in time for my Deadlands game. Thanks guys.